Welcome to the very first annual TFL Truck Gold Hitch Award, and we've got the entire editorial team assembled here. We've got Andre, we've got Kent, Mr. Truck, we've got my man Nathan, and one of the core virtues of TFL is that we're always transparent, and so we thought, let's actually do the deliberations on camera so that you guys can see and argue about why we picked which truck.
That's right. This is going to air after the awards, so you're going to be able to see why we came up to these conclusions and how we did it. There's a whiteboard over there with all the technical information. We have a bunch of stuff written down, and we've all driven these trucks, so this is going to give us an opportunity to discuss it, vote, and actually come up with the decision of who wins what.
Let's start. Let's just go at it, guys. And the very first class that we want to do is the mid-size class, and there were 3 trucks in the class that we tested. The Nissan Frontier, the GMC Canyon, and of course the Toyota Tacoma. Now you may be wondering about the Colorado. GM didn't send us to Colorado, so it's the Canyon. And we can only vote on the trucks that we've actually tested. Now there's an important thing I have to state right here. We would love to have the identical axle ratio, the identical cab setup, the identical bed length, the identical weight that we're towing, but that's a perfect world, and this is not a perfect world.
Yeah, this is based mostly on technical information, but at the same time, there are things that are out of our control. So we actually do have an opportunity to drive these trucks, at least we have that, and we have the ability to tow up the Ike Gauntlet, which is what all these trucks did.
Yeah, and keep in mind, when I said it's not a perfect world, what we're talking about is, for instance, we have the MPG on the Frontier going up the Ike Gauntlet, that was 3.9, we have it on the Canyon, that was 3.6, but we don't have it on the Tacoma because the Tacoma didn't have the little display.
It's all computer,
it doesn't have a built-in road trip computer that was available on that truck, so we weren't able to do it.
And we had 2 options at that point. We could have tried to fill it up with gas and gotten that, but that's impossible because there's no gas tank
on the top of the Eisenhower Tunnel.
Yeah.
Or we go with what we have, so we don't have the mileage. And the way that we're doing this is, since there's 4 of us, we're each going to vote for a truck, and we're going to do it by having brackets. And basically, we're going to eliminate a truck every time and then get to the eventual winner. If there is a tie, I will not vote. And then you will have 3 people voting for the truck, and of course, since you have 3, then the chances of there being a tie are impossible. So, gentlemen, let's get going.
All right.
Each of you, please pick the truck that you would eliminate first.
Eliminate first.
Yeah,
okay.
Write it down on a piece of paper, and then give it to me.
And just a note. So all these 3 trucks were crew cabs and 4x4s.
Yes.
So at least we got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Frontier has a little heavier weight on the trailer.
All right. Let's see what we got there. All right.
Andre, if that says your mother, I'm going to be very disappointed in you.
I'm going to be like Sean Connery.
Your mother, Trebek!
All right, we have our first eliminator round.
We did?
Yes, we did, and we just eliminated the Toyota Tacoma. So before we get on to the next elimination, let's talk about that. Why did we eliminate the Toyota Tacoma? Let's start with Andre and go down.
Yeah.
I did not pick the Tacoma this round
Right.
to eliminate, but what I can say about the Tacoma, we had the long wheelbase one with the longer bed, crew cab, 4x4. And the Tacoma, I actually liked how it handled on the highway, towing. The long wheelbase actually helped the truck out quite a bit. So that's just my impression from the truck.
This is about what we like about the Tacoma.
Yeah, both like and dislike.
it's-
Start with either one.
I mean, it's the #1 selling truck out there. Knocked Ranger off and Ranger dropped out. But I mean, it's the macho-looking truck. It's got the big fenders, the fake hood scoop. I mean, it's a great truck. I mean, it's got plenty of room. It's going to last forever. That's that kind of truck it is. But it's just not my favorite.
All right, Nathan?
Tacomas are some of the best trucks in the world. I've always felt that. But
And let's completely honest here. You just bought a Tacoma.
Yes.
But I also
what
just
year is it?
eliminated it's an older, slightly older Tacoma. But I also just eliminated a Tacoma, and the reason why is because the transmission lets it down. I don't think it's an advanced transmission, not by the comparison of other vehicles. I feel that even though the long wheelbase is much better on the highway, and it's much better for like driving on the highway, the turning radius is the size of the Bismarck or the Patinkin. And then finally, it's not. Regular efficiency isn't very good. So those are my issues. But the positive is such a damn good truck, and it's bulletproof, and yeah, it looks great. And the hood scoop is very disappointing.
Yeah. So I guess I would say, if we were voting on the most reliable truck, then it would be a different story. If we were voting on one of the most off-road worthy trucks, it'd be a different story. I do love the fact that the Tacoma is almost as bulletproof as you can get. I love that engine, but it's just starting to feel really, really old. You know, it was loud going up. You could just hear that engine the whole way up the gauntlet.
And I think sound is important.
It is important.
Because if you're on the road for 8 hours towing a trailer, if you're always listening to that engine, it's tiring.
Yeah, the radio's not very good either, so speaker sound and all that, you're not bleeding your ears in order to get rid of the sound.
And we're very aware that there's a new one coming, so we can't.
So we're excited about it.
Yeah, and the reason we tested this one partially was because we wanted to kind of compare it to the one that's coming. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Next one. Please eliminate the next one. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, guys, it is unanimous. We are going to jump and declare the winner because there's only 2 trucks left, and then we'll talk about the winner at the end. But you know what? The winner of the TFL Gold Hitch Award for 2015 midsize is the GMC Canyon, because we just all eliminated the Frontier. Andre, why did you eliminate the Frontier?
So the Frontier, so first of all, it did 8 minutes 37 seconds on the way up, which actually surprised me. We had it loaded all the way. You know, we had our test boat we were towing. I thought it did really good on the way up. It was really trying. It was, you know, the pedal was to the metal. But when I towed with it, it was a little squirrely. And on the downhill, it just wasn't as stable as I wanted it to be. And I know we had a lot of weight on it, but it just didn't. I wasn't as confident as I wanted to be.
Kent?
Well, I think the Frontier is the best value of the 3 trucks. I think, you know, usually you get the price point with it. I always thought it's a very solid truck back to the old hard body days, which it came from.
Yep.
And I really like the truck. So it's hard for me to fault it a lot, except that it's dated. It's, you know, it's getting old. It's, you know, you get tired looking at the same thing every year, and we may still be years away from a new Frontier.
The interior really needs to be updated, and needed to be updated 4 years ago. It's not a very comfortable truck. I used to really like them, and the more I stayed in the truck, the seats weren't as comfortable. I just felt like the Nissan never matured as it should have. I think that 4 years ago it should have been completely revamped, and it never really was. Acceleration's really good, gas mileage is terrible. Once again, just like the Toyota, transmission is way behind. Just that simple.
Yeah, and I think for me, the Frontier is probably the most honest of the trucks. It is what it is, and there's a lot to that, right? You feel like you're really behind the wheel of a truck, and you're not trying to drive a car. Whereas the Canyon, which is a nice segue, our winner, feels the most car-like, right? It's definitely, if you didn't look into that rearview mirror, you would not know that you're behind the wheel of a pickup truck.
Right.
It also was the fastest up. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
It was 754 up the Icon. And this is not just about speed, but compared to the Tacoma at 849 and the Frontier at 837, it like rocked up that hill, and it felt the most comfortable towing for me. It just felt really at ease. It didn't feel like it was strained, and of course, it felt modern. Andre?
Yeah, for the Canyon, I liked it. It was a little bit loud. I think the engine, when it was screaming up the hill, you know, listening to it was a little bit loud at the RPMs. But obviously did it under 8 minutes, which is kind of one of our passing criteria for the test. You know, if you can keep this average speed, so which was really great. And also the wheelbase of it is great, and I felt really confident when I was in the truck.
Kent?
Oh, the most important thing is the long bed was 1 inch longer than the rest of them.
That's all it takes.
But we pulled.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. So we pulled the 5,600-pound trailer, and I could have flown up that hill. You know, we had to keep back for fuel mile. I mean, for the right speed limit. But it was fast, and it's rated to pull 7,000 pounds, and I think it could pull the Gauntlet 7,000 pounds. We probably only have one person in it for payload.
Yeah, payload.
I was really impressed with it. I mean, it does, like you say, have high RPM, so it's a little noisy. But this truck fits a lot of categories. I think the Frontier and Tacoma are really aimed toward the younger crowd, where the Canyon, I can see anybody buying a Canyon. I can see the old folks buying a Canyon. I can see, you know, middle age. Everybody could use the Canyon if you need a mid-sized truck. I like it. You know, it's fast, and that's what impressed me. And I felt it had plenty of room in there. I mean, they all are similar size, but I just feel like the canyon was a little larger.
I think that, your test is, can you wear the hat, the cowboy hat?
Yeah,
inside
yeah.
the truck? You can't sit down with it, but once you're in there, you
once
can
you're
wear
in there, but you got to do the old longhorn steer to get in it. So that's how it works.
Nathan?
Well, a couple things. First of all, Andre and I are both family men. We have little kids, and I think that on a day-to-day basis, this would be the best truck to own out of the three. But I got to point this out. They do not offer a manual transmission with the V6, and Toyota and Nissan do. And that, to me, is a huge thing. I really like small trucks with manuals. So that's actually a negative. But on the positive, yeah, it tows great. It handles really well. It does feel like a regular car or a small SUV, perhaps, in traffic. And it just seems like the easiest vehicle to live with, and by far the best interior.
Yeah, by far. It's refined. It's a whole next generation of truck. And there's also something important to be said. It is as long as a half ton. Basically, it's just not as wide.
Right.
But the footprint is as long.
Right.
So
And it looks like a big truck.
To call these mid-sized trucks. is
Yeah.
probably-
Yeah, they're growing in size, all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need small trucks again, and everybody needs to start building trucks that weigh only 3,000 pounds. That'd be nice.
Anyway, I want to congratulate GMC for winning the very first annual Best Towing Truck in the Land, going to the GMC Canyon. Congratulations, and guys, thank you very much for watching and for staying with us as we haul these trucks up the Ike Canyon, and come back for more Gold Hitch Awards coverage all year long.
Did you just say Ike Canyon?
Canyon, man. After this cold, I can barely talk. It's a bad time to be doing
If the
this.
camera is off, he'd be laying on the floor right now. He's barely staying, vertical.
I gauntlet mid-size.
Mid-size.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Only 6 feet.
Well
Thank
done.
you.